kill my voice for today. That's what you're gonna do. Yeah.
So you can't scream at me in the car.
But I actually have to ask, who's driving?
Both of us.
I figure
But
we
who's driving?
I'm taking the first shift.
I was just saying, who's driving?
you took the first shift? All right. Oh no, we gotta go to Dallas.
How long?
I'm still talking on mic. I can see which one.
Okay.
How long was it?
All right, guys, my apologies. We didn't think setup would be so quick, but we're gonna start at 2:30 so everyone has time to filter in and nobody misses content. So, give us a few moments, please.
I like the Connor outfit.
I have no idea which one it is. Okay, I'm not
You're the android sent by.
What do you want to adjust it again?
just to raise up a little bit.
Cyberpunk?
I didn't know which one it was.
Yeah, I have this where I can make different colors.
That's so cool, man. You made that yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, Connor.
That's it.
I wasn't paying attention to what he said.
on mic levels.
I love Detroit Become Human.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite games.
It's so good.
But it's one of those games I have to wait in between to play it because like I want to have like an authentic kind of playthrough for that. So if I play it and then I play it again, then my choice is just to be like, oh, let me do this one instead of like one I did before. But if I wait a couple years, then I forget everything that I did, and I'm like, okay, this is a real playthrough, and then it kind of says a little bit about me and how I've changed when I played it before.
You're missing out on like.
One of the reasons why I haven't played Life is Strange again since the first playthrough.
Has everybody played Detroit Become Human?
Oh yeah, great game.
Alright, I'm not gonna spoil anything. Forget it.
Well, those type of games, it's like your first playthrough is legitimately your truest playthrough because that's your most authentic choices. That is, everything that you get is from you, and everything else after that is just, oh, what did I miss? You know, or you're hunting trophies or whatever you're doing. But man, I love that game so much. I really do.
Welcome to the Detroit Become Human panel.
Welcome to Gaming Across America, where we talk about video games and our experiences as we're doing road trips throughout the country.
Part of the road trip too.
Most of us, yeah.
Yeah.
Part of the what?
This is part of the road trip technically.
Yeah. So, me, Ronnie, and Eric are from Florida. These guys are native.
Hi.
Where are we going tomorrow?
Dallas.
We will be in Dallas. He and I actually will be in Dallas Fort Worth tomorrow at DreamHack, doing roughly the same thing we're doing here. And we weren't smart enough to fly, so we're gonna drive it.
What?
I wouldn't say smart enough to fly.
Best reaction ever.
It's the same thing. Does anybody know what a bandit run is?
I thought it was a bull run.
No, bandit run. Bull runs, cannonball runs all the way. Bandit runs just to Texarkana and back. We're doing half a bandit run. But we gotta find a gas station on the way in and buy some cores.
I mean, we have to find a gas station anyways because it's a 12-hour drive.
We have to find the first gas station in Texarkana and buy some cores.
So we are Gaming Across America. Thank you so much for joining us today. I want to introduce everybody. I'm Gotian. I'm the person in charge, the one who started it, and I brought everybody else aboard. We're missing some members, but I'll talk about them as well. Over to my right, I have Erica. She's our media manager. I have Omnitoast here. He is our graphics designer. Yeah, I'm just going to project my voice because this thing doesn't really pick me up unless I'm like here.
Wow.
So I do speak
Oh,
loud.
let me show you something really cool. Check this out. There you go.
I'm used to a wireless microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry, fancy pants.
Well, so I'm a singer as well, so I'm used to having a wireless microphone and just moving about the crowd. Anyways, Omnitoast is our graphics designer. He does our thumbnails and whatever else I ask of him. Pilk is our lead director. He basically handles all my. You're my assistant, basically.
He says I need this, I do this. That's pretty much that.
Exactly, and like I'll run ideas past him, and he'll basically reel me in a little bit and be like, hey, you know, it's probably not a good idea.
You're on screen.
I'm on screen. Oh, thank you for that. Oh. Yeah. That was not intentional. We got Ronnie over here. He is our editor. He's also my cousin. He spends most of the time in the background doing stuff.
I'm the man on the chair.
You're the man in the chair. Well, why don't you back it up so then you can actually play the intro.
Play the intro.
That's what I'm trying to do. Alright, screw it.
So not featured with us tonight, or today.
Today.
I'm tired. So not featured with us is Harley, who's on screen right now. She's our video game historian. I give her the topics and she researches them. You're gonna just keep repeating that same thing over and over again, aren't
That, it wouldn't stop. It's my laptop and it wouldn't stop.
you? So Harley is our video game historian. So if I give her games or topics to research, she's gonna research it. She has her own segments in the show that she talks about, and I thoroughly enjoy those segments, especially when she rants and rambles because she makes a lot of mistakes. And it's fun with the editing that he does, and it just has a good time.
Yeah, it's my favorite bit. Like,
Yeah.
I love just throwing the random stuff in there.
Michael, who, I don't know if you want to speed that up so people can see
Just have the
Michael.
logo on screen for now.
Okay. So Michael, who's not here, is our music producer. We have music tracks for the entire show that is made by him, and we're planning on actually doing physical releases of the soundtrack for the show because he's been hard at work at that, and we're big on physical media here because it's something that's slowly going away with the digital age and makes us very sad. Boo. Yes, boo. Can we get a boo for digital media for like replacing everything? Thank you. Thank you. So we're here to talk about just video games and the show and any questions that you guys might have and ideas that you might be able to give us because, like I said, we're traveling all over the place. The first season was us going to Michigan and back. It was a long drive. I dragged my family over there. It was actually a family trip that turned into the show. So it was kind of an impromptu thing. I was like, you know what? I'm already recording stuff. Let's turn it into a show. So that's what we did. I met up with other content creators. I met up with these guys on my way back. And it just became this show. And I kind of pitched it to all of them. I pitched it to our sponsor as well, Zero In by Root, and they're going to join us in DreamHack tomorrow. So, yeah, we're here. You guys can ask whatever questions that you want as we talk about different things, and we can just talk about games, man. This is gaming across America. I'd love to see what kind of games you all are into. I know Omni's wife is into Zelda. I don't know of any Charlie Brown game. But I mean, we got game. No, I mean, I'm sure there's a Peanuts game somewhere.
Probably.
I'm looking it up. I'm curious. It's gonna bother me.
Hey, Chris, how come you're not
Is that your
dressed as
call?
Charlie Brown either?
Is that your call?
This is actually just a core memory you just unlocked.
There is a Snoopy game for the PS4.
There you go.
There you go.
You got a Snoopy game for the PS4.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You should totally stream that.
Probably Italian.
So all of us.
Oh my God, there is Snoopy's Grand Adventure.
Snoopy's
So,
Snoopy's
all of
Silly
us
Sports
here-
Spectacular.
I'm sure there's a lot of Snoopy games, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Just not Charlie Brown.
Snoopy and the Red Bear.
I mean, that's
for PS4.
very appropriate.
Yeah. So all of us here are content creators, been content creators for a long time. I actually met Erica on TikTok. We went to it was a TikTok Global Award ceremony that we got invited to, and she was standing by herself, and I approached her like a creep, and I said probably the cheesiest line ever is like, "Do you feel out of place here?" Because a whole bunch of young people. We're like when I say young people, like ridiculously young people compared to us, and I'm like, oh my God, it's so weird being here. And so we hit it off. We hung out the rest of the day, and we became good friends. And I've introduced her to my wife, and this whole thing here. This guy right here. I met him, and then this guy.
We can talk about the game we met through.
This guy, I met him through him.
In the same game.
And him I met when he was born.
So you're the old one.
He's the old
He's
one.
actually the oldest one.
This man's 40.
He's 40.
I'm 39,
Not yet.
shut up. He's the oldest one. But, we're pretty much all in the same age group, so we typically like similar games. We're in the same generation, so we tend to find people who are within our age group. They tend to look for the same things when it comes to games. And it's been very interesting interacting with people. And
And he loves embarrassing his wife.
I absolutely love embarrassing my wife. I wish she was here. She was gonna be here, but she couldn't. And I would have had a blast if she was, to be honest.
And she's hot.
And she's hot? You know we're recording this.
Yeah.
You know I'm gonna show her this.
I'm think you.
That's Abby. I met her at DreamHack, and we became good friends too. So.
Hi, Abby. I just realized you were there like 3 minutes ago.
So a lot of the first season, which I think we're at episode 5 or 6 right now.
5 just dropped.
5 just dropped.
Oh yeah, 6 dropped.
6 just dropped.
Sorry.
Okay, so episode 6
I
just
asked you
dropped.
the numbering convention. And you
I said 1, 2, 3, 4. I just started spouting numbers.
He actually
He
counted
said
up to
5.
5, so then 6 was the rational answer.
Don't let your editor keep track of all this.
That's part of your job.
Counting is hard.
Counting is very hard.
See, last time I checked though, I thought we were at episode 35 with how many revisions I've done to the thumbnails.
Yeah, that's true. So a lot of the seasons or the episodes are filmed ahead of time because it takes time for us to edit everything and to get all these people together to do stuff. And so the first season was our trip to Michigan and back. We did stop in other places, Indiana, Georgia. I forgot what
Who's
else.
local?
Yeah, where's every local?
Nice.
Yeah, there we go.
Who likes steel collectibles?
Yeah, the store's still
There you go. They're coming up soon.
Yeah, we're probably gonna visit them again though.
Oh yeah.
Because so a lot of stuff that I noticed when I was going to visit these stores is that a lot of them, because I had somebody ask me, why don't you show the people there? A lot of them didn't want to be on camera. And I always ask every time I go into a store, hey, is it okay if I film? And most of the time they're like, yeah, it's fine, just don't put any of us on camera, don't put the customers on camera. I said, that's fine, there's no problem. And Steel Collectibles though, they're very okay with it.
They were cool.
It's just there was a lot of noise, so like us talking to them got not overshadowed, but
drowned out.
Drowned out. Thank you. Got drowned out by the noise around. So we're gonna make a second visit so we can actually sit down and talk to them because I like to know people's stories. That's one of the biggest things for me with this is people's stories. I mean, everybody has a story that got into gaming. Everybody has a story as to, especially the owners of these stores and these shops, what got them into it. And you know, a lot of these locations have more than just video games. You know, one of the things that we want to expand on is not just video games, but gaming. I mean, it's called Gaming Across America. So we want to do tabletops, we want to do card games. Yes.
Have you ever heard of Southern Fried Game Expo?
Yes.
He has. He wants to get us
Going
in
next
there.
month.
Yeah. Find my brother later. He's one of the original guys, and he happens to know the one who started it.
Okay.
He's the guy
We'll make
to
it-
talk
we'll make
to.
it
He's in
I'll
charge of
I'll
that.
send you a picture afterward. It's
Okay.
usually hanging around people who have cosplays.
What was your name?
Mary Alice Davies.
Mary Alice. Well, thank you for that. And were you're knitting?
Yeah.
She is, yeah.
What are you knitting?
A dishcloth I also game. This is just something I'm trying to keep my hands busy with.
Fair enough. That's your fidget spinner.
Davies. Relation to John?
Yes.
I
Well,
used-
you had a very pretty Bucky O'Hare at SFG.
I was his manager at Lenovo when he was building that thing. I have been trying to catch up with him for a long time. I love his work. He is awesome. So yeah, we will definitely be in touch.
Yeah, just catch me after the title then.
Absolutely.
I don't have that northern blood like you do. I'm sorry. I'm born and raised in Florida.
I'm sorry, I was born and raised in Wisconsin.
No, I'm very sorry. I'm born and raised.
That's why I married you. I had to import my cheese.
So I like hearing stories from people, especially you guys. Everybody has stories in gaming. If you guys want to share a story, what got you into gaming? We're filming there too. I don't mind. I encourage it because this is the whole purpose of the show: is to get to know people in communities and see what brings us all together. You know, like we can go down the table and everybody can say what got them into gaming. Erica, you want to start?
Sure. Can you guys even hear me on this thing?
Speak up.
I know.
I think this one's louder.
Okay, we'll do this one. No.
Maybe, no?
No.
Just there you go.
Okay, so what got me into gaming is my dad. And my dad played video games his whole entire life. He was like super into NASCAR. And when I mean he had like the whole setup, he had the pedals, the steering wheel, everything. And he would just prop up on his couch every day and with his little setup on his little stand and just play race car games all day. And then I started playing them. And then I started playing Super Nintendo games, and then I started playing GameCube games, and then I got into Final Fantasy, and that was a long, long road playing those games for hundreds and hundreds of hours, and still not finishing all of them. Like, how do you play those so much and still not finish them? And yeah, now I just have a love of all types of gaming. I always try new games. I'm a variety streamer, so if you guys have recommendations, send them my way.
So I was born into it because my parents had an Atari 2600 before I was even conceived. My grandfather, I was his one and only grandchild. I had a Super Nintendo before I could even read. So I grew up playing Super Mario. I grew up playing Paperboy on the Super NES, and then just grew up with the N64, GoldenEye, Pokemon Stadium, Ocarina of Time. Moved to GameCube, and just be honest, I've been playing games literally all my life, but I've always been more gravitated toward the first-person shooter genre, especially a little game called Destiny, which I've been happy a part of since 2015. So,
Ron?
Yeah.
All right. I never really considered myself like a heavy gamer, believe it or not. I was always very picky with my games. I started off with a little system called Sega Genesis. Maybe some of you guys may be familiar with that. Yeah. My dad got me that in like the early 90s. And then I was a huge fan of portable gaming. Like I've had every variation of Game Boys. Like I've had Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and even SP. I still have my SP. And I really love Pokemon games. They really got to bring back the turn-based system and keep it condensed instead of like having it as an open world. Because like if you've played what was the recent one, Scarlet Violet? It's a total mess, man. I'm not enjoying those games. Right now, more than ever, I'm more focused on PC gaming because consoles suck. Shut up.
You're part of the problem.
They're x86s with limited hardware. Like, don't even get me started, man. They're just
You're part of the
better.
problem.
All right, whatever. I like PC gaming now. But I really love story-driven games, mostly single player. So I'm more of a single player guy than a multiplayer guy because I suck at co-op and stuff like that. So any kid can take me out on Fortnite or Valorant or any of those games. Marvel Rivals, I suck at it, man. I thought I was gonna like it, but I'm having a hard time with that game. But yeah, that's my story. Yeah, I'm kind of an intermediate gamer, but more than anything else, I'm more of a music guy. So I love music. I'm trying to dabble into voice acting. I think I have something for that. I think I really think I can do good voice acting.
I don't know.
I feel that way. I just really want to get into that somehow, whether it's doing commercials or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's my story.
Pilk?
You know what help you in voice acting? A YouTube channel.
Which he has.
Which I have. Yeah.
So, 65 million years ago when I was born, we didn't have video games. No, I'm just kidding. So, kind of like half these guys up here, I'm an old fart, but when I was growing up, my parents had an Atari 2600, and that's where I got started. But when it broke, they were like, yeah, we're done. No more video games in the house. Video games are the devil. So when I got my very first job at 14, I saved up every ounce of my salary, and I went and bought a Sega Genesis, brand new in box, and it started the addiction. Own it to this day, and I collected every Sega product, and then I went to Nintendo, and now I've got consoles you've probably never even heard of, and I love every second of it. Have I played every game I own? Hell no. But I like to think I'm supporting the craft, at least in my little way. But I love video games, all kinds, you name it. I happen to be a fan of Scarlet and Violet personally, but to each their own. I actually have my own Pokemon-related YouTube channel called Professor Pilk. I don't know. I just love video gaming in general. Anything video games, just let me dabble in it. Even if I suck at it, I'll still love it and enjoy it.
So I've been playing video games since I was 2.5. Apparently there's footage of me in a diaper playing Mario Brothers.
I've witnessed it.
Yeah. My grandfather bought me my first Nintendo, and then it was at my aunt's house. Our aunt. Yeah. So most of my love of video games actually comes from my aunt. She was the one that introduced me to RPGs, to games like Metroid, things like that. Like she had all those games when I was growing up, and I played all of those at her house. And every time I would watch her play an RPG and see like how powerful her characters are, I was like, oh, I want to play this game and I want to try to get my characters as powerful as that. You know, it's got that kind of mentality growing up that I had, and anytime like a new game came out, I shared that with my aunt, and she was always supportive of that. My parents, on the other hand, were always, yo, you're gonna rot your brain playing video games, and it's never gonna do anything for you. Well, guess what? Guess what? I'm a content creator. I make money doing it, so ha! Joke's on you.
That makes you a professional.
That makes me a professional. I get paid for it. Joke's on you. What's that?
A professional brain rot.
Yes, you're not wrong on that. But I love games just overall as a whole. I love the development of games. I love the history of games. I'm a game collector. I support physical media. Unfortunately, not everything is available on physical media. Yeah, boo again. Boo.
What the hell you're doing?
You're part of the problem.
And PC gaming does start today.
I have nothing wrong with PC gaming. I play games on PC as well. But I'm that person. I will buy a physical copy of the game and buy it on PC, just so that way I can play it on PC and have a physical copy on my console or something.
You have like 3 copies of every collector's There's something wrong with
It's
it.
a problem.
It is a
I
problem.
know I have a problem.
I'm with
If
you.
you see my, for example, if you see my Resident Evil collection, I have 3 copies of Long Box Resident Evil 1, 3 copies of Director's Cut, 3 copies of Resident Evil 2, 3 copies of RE3, 3 copies of RE. I have a problem.
And a card.
And if I don't have 3 copies of a certain game, for some reason I have to buy 3 copies of the game.
It's only a problem when you run out.
But why?
I don't know. I tried explaining it to my wife, and she was like, "Okay, whatever. I don't care. It's your money. It's fine." She always looks at me. Are the bills paid? Yes. Then it's fine.
She did force me, man.
Did your parents buy you like 3 copies of games when you were young?
No, they didn't.
It might be OCD.
It might be. That might be my only case of OCD. To be honest with you.
I'll tell you what though, I had to bear witness with playing games growing up, and I always wonder like, who the hell's buying the guy? Like I don't have this many games. Like how is he doing that?
Well, I mean, a lot of my games growing up, I bought my games.
Like what you do, mow the lawn, like the lawn or something?
Do chores.
All right.
I'd save my money and I bought my games.
Got
I
it.
mean, that's just what it is. Did you have a question? I saw you put your hand up.
Oh no, it's for Ron. You said you own consoles that nobody has ever heard of? Virtual Boy?
Oh, easy. I got 3 of them.
What is it with you?
How do you prove?
I bought a Virtual Boy in like 2000, and then I guess they found a bunch of them on a pallet somewhere, and so I bought 2 more in box.
Wow. How much
Just
are you-
because of reasons.
How much are you selling one for?
I'm not.
Damn
Do you know what Magnavox Odyssey is?
Yes.
Have you heard of the Magnavox Odyssey 4000?
I think I might have heard that name before.
Yeah, it's like one of the very, very early ones that has like a selector switch between a couple different like sports games. We found one at Steel Collectibles, untested, and they were like, we haven't tested it. I'm like, I don't care, I can fix it, even if it's busted. They were like, okay, well, we'll give it to you for X stupid, insanely low price. I was like, done, sold. Give me. I plugged it in. It did not work. It needed a little bit of work. I don't think it had the cables. I think I had to find the cables for it.
I think you said you had to, yeah.
Yeah, finding the cables was a monster. And when I finally got it working, like it's terrible. It's a really early video game, but how many people own one? I rest my case.
That's cricket.
I think it's cool as shit.
Fun fact, that was actually the first time I ever went to Steel Collectibles that time.
I am so sorry.
Where'd you ever bought the
And
car?
you didn't tell me you were there.
So one of the things that we don't focus on really is like pricing, because I mean there's so many.
Clearly.
Shush. No, but there's this big stigma when it comes to pricing on retro games, and a lot of that is, I'm not going to call any content creators out, but a lot of it is because of content creators that go around and they kind of glorify how much they spend, and that has a lot to do with inflating the prices on retro games. And
I'm not a fan of that. And I'm more supportive of just like the stores themselves. So when I go to these stores, I don't typically try to undercut them, you know, if I'm buying a game from them. If I'm buying a bunch of games all at once, I may be like, can we just knock off like $10, make me feel a little better about this? Because if I'm spending like $500, I'm like, make it $490, because $490 sounds a little bit better than $500. You know, so it's just something that, like, for me, I don't like to, because I want to support these people. These people, they have a lot of investment in their stores. They have a lot of time. They spend a lot of time in their stores. Just like any other business. Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with the Warriors series, like Dynasty
Oh, God,
Warriors,
yeah.
Samurai Warriors, Warriors Orochi? Because those are the types of games that I excel
Yeah,
in.
so, fun fact, I'm actually a content creator for Koei Tecmo. So they send me a lot of their games, and they send me the Warriors games. I actually just started playing Warriors Abyss. I love that game. That game is that was so surprising how good that game was and how addicting it was. But yes, the Warrior games, I love the Warrior games. It's so much fun to play. Wait, that's one of your favorite ones?
Yes.
Nice.
Hyrule Warriors, yeah.
Hyrule Warriors is good.
Please give me a copy of the definitive edition.
We cannot find the Switch version of
That's not, when I say I'm a content creator with Koei Tecmo, that's not how that works. They don't send me physical games, they send me digital. What's that?
Can you give me
I can't, they don't pay me for it, they just give me the games. I make my money on the content afterwards. Yeah, so I mean, I spent a lot of time interacting with different publishers and developers, and so there's publishers that I deal with on a regular basis. Koei Tecmo is one of them, so like a new Atelier game comes out or Fatal Frame or anything, they send it to me. I don't even have to ask. They just send it over because they know that I play them for my viewers and all that. NIS America is another one, they send me their games. I don't know, not a lot of people know them, but with like the rise of the East games and the Legend of Heroes games, there's been a lot of people playing or paying attention to them as publishers, or localizers, I should say. They localize those games. But I've interacted with Capcom. I was one of their streamers for Resident Evil Village when it came out. And Square Enix as well, they sent me, when Final Fantasy VII Remake dropped, they sent me that. They sent me 2 copies for the PC when they did the PC release, and for PS5. So yeah, like I've had a lot of interaction with the different companies, and it's always interesting to see how the games have evolved, because like we're getting so many remakes these days, and there's just like, I don't have a problem with remakes. I actually love them.
I like them.
Because one, it's a new spin on the story, and it allows newer fans to come into the series. I always encourage them to go back and play the old games just to see where they came from. Especially with like Final Fantasy VII, because 7 Remake, that whole thing, it's a sequel. It's not a remake, it's a sequel. But that's another panel. We can have another panel on that one. But yeah, no, I mean, I think all of us have had interactions with a lot of different companies. Like I introduced him to Sony. Actually, it was PlayStation.
Yeah, they sent me an early copy of Marvel Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, so like I had I guess it was a media manager from Sony that I was dealing with, and I was like, oh, you know what? My cousin has a Marvel and Spider-Man focused channel. He would be great to send Spider-Man 2 to, and they sent it to him. And you know, she's our media manager, so she's interacting with a lot of different stuff. She just had a TikTok thing, food thing. She got really drunk. I don't know. But I don't even know what that was about. But that's her thing she was dealing with. You know what? Silencer.
You want to go?
It's like a movie, man.
Want to go outside?
Yes, sir.
Are there any companies you won't work with again after?
Yes.
Yeah, I got
That
Bandai.
you can name? Okay, so you're.
I will not work with Bandai. They don't like me.
I won't work with Ubisoft.
No. They don't like me. No. I'm being serious though. I will not work.
Does not like you?
They do not like me.
Why?
Because I call them out on the bullshit all the time.
That's good. That's good.
They are very money hungry. A lot of their games, specifically mobile games,
I feel
are yeah, you should feel attacked. Are very money driven, and I can't support them. And I call them out on their bad marketing or their bad practices and their lack of stories and whatever they're trying to push in their games. Somebody else? Yeah.
I actually worked in games for 11 years.
Okay.
I did 8 years in mobile, and I know exactly what you mean about, money hungry. We actually had a joke where we said a lawyer and a doctor get into an argument on a video game, a mobile game. Who wins?
Oh, God.
The game company.
Yeah. Somebody behind?
Yeah, when it comes to the editing for your channel, working with such a large team, what's that editing flow look like?
So before I pass it over to him, so I record all the footage.
Yeah.
I go and I visit all the places. I record all the footage, and whoever is in the footage with me is there as well. Like these guys are in like 3 episodes with me. Erica shows up when we went to DreamHack. Abby's in that DreamHack one too. So I'll record all the footage. I will put it together in a timeline. And then I'll send it to him.
Yeah, he just drops it in the Google Drive, and I just dump it in, and I just start to edit and cut out things that I think wouldn't fit, and leave things that would fit. Then I send it to him.
Yeah, so that
and then he goes like, "No, can you fix this?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have to re-edit it again.
Yeah, we go back and forth at that point.
Yeah.
So like I'll tell him, hey, put a little bit more of a spin onto this, make it a little bit more entertaining, a little funnier.
How many times does that pass back up?
It depends.
Depends when I send it.
Yeah.
The first time. So we drop our episodes on the 15th of every month, and it really depends on, so the way it works too is I have all the footage recorded, and then I send it off to Harley with what I want her to record. So I'll send her the topics of the games or whatever it is in that video that I want her to research and talk about. So the second that she sends me everything and I put it all into the timeline, that's when I send it to him. Sometimes it happens sooner than others. Rarely, but it does happen. Rarely we get into crunch, but it does happen, and he's pretty good at doing everything pretty quickly and effectively. So I would say probably like 5 to 6 days of editing.
No, not really. I mean, I can do that video. I can do our videos in a few hours.
No, but I'm saying like from when I get it, I put it into timeline, I send it to you.
Right, yeah.
Go back and forth.
Yeah, we do go back and forth for a few days. Yeah, it's just like minor edits, whatever. Aside from that, I also input my own take as far as the editing goes, like my own style as well, and I get his approval for it.
Yeah, so it's not really like a hectic process. I just tell him, hey, give me a call when you have everything together, send me the video, I'll take a look at it, give me a call, and then we go and we talk about different things on that. We also have a question. I saw somebody else back there. No? Okay, go ahead.
So you might want to come back next year and ask that question again, because I think season 2 is going to change a lot, format-wise. Because I know I've gone and filmed some stuff just independently that we've released as shorts on YouTube. I also released them on my TikTok as well, just to get the word out there a little bit, because advertising is everything. But if we're filming, like maybe I'll film an episode with him or somebody else, or somebody else on the team films an episode. I think that's kind of how season 2 is going to go, right? We're going to do a little bit of more branching out and more people doing more stuff. So it's a great question. I think it's going to get more complex, and you probably get a better answer next year. So come back.
Yeah, because a lot of this is I don't want to say educational stuff, but I mean it kind of is. So the way I looked at it was like, okay, educational. The way I looked at it was like, okay, I'm gonna record stuff about video games. We're gonna talk about video games. And then I was like, holy crap, hold on. Am I getting old? Because I'm looking at the video games and I'm like, holy crap, there's history now in these games. There's a lot of influence for pop culture and stuff. We've become history, and I was like, this is weird, but at the same time, the show could be about the history of gaming, and that intrigued me enough, and I sold the idea to these guys, and they're like, that's a good idea.
You're Professor Gotian.
Professor
Gotian.
So on my TikTok, a lot of times they call me Professor Gotian just because I talk about video game history. But that was honestly what kind of sparked the whole thing, is that we're getting to that point where it's a lot of our games are historical in a way. You look at the NES, and how much that influenced everything. And you look at the PlayStation, how much that influenced JRPGs and the Japanese market being more of a focus over here. You know, there's so much that goes into gaming that we as gamers we don't really pay attention to it unless somebody brings it up. Because, I mean, I'm looking at everybody in the crowd, and everybody's kind of our demographic, the same age that we are. We're kind of all experienced gaming in the same way. Like, a lot of us grew up with gaming. And it's different. Like, if I talk to my kids about gaming, they're like, oh, you know, Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite. Like, if they don't, even though like I'm around to talk to them about games, it's not the same, you know, as if I talk to these guys and we get into a tirade or rant about, you know, gaming, just the history of everything. You know, like I can, if I'm talking to newer gamers these days about like Final Fantasy or Resident Evil, they're going to talk about like the newer games and not really know so much about the older games and where they came from and the history of all of that, and how like Alone in the Dark and you know, Clock Tower and like all those games that like they influenced one another, you know, like how many people know that Final Fantasy VII actually had some influence from Resident Evil?
And at that, with the Clock Tower, they'll talk about the remake of the Clock Tower.
Yeah, well, there's Clock Tower is kind of confusing to talk about in general over here because Clock Tower 1 here is not Clock Tower 1.
Well, no, they actually just came out with a remake of the first one.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't played that yet. Harley, I think Harley did. So she's not here for that though.
Yep.
She's on the Discord call.
Yeah, she couldn't make it. We're trying to get her on Discord. Yeah.
What's your favorite Resident Evil game? And
3 Nemesis.
Thank you. I love you. What remakes are you looking forward to?
What do you mean?
The remakes of the Resident Evil games. Are you
2 remake is my favorite.
I can chime in on the remakes too.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was scared shitless playing the original Resident Evil games. Also, the controls are always wonky because, like, you press the D-pad, the character just moves.
You're talking about tank controls.
Yeah, the tank.
The tank controls, yeah, I hated that shit. But when I played the remakes, I love Part 2. I don't know what the hell they did with Part 3. I don't know what happened there. And then I played 4 recently, loved it. But I think 2 is my favorite.
So I actually know Nick Apostolidis, the voice acting motion capture for Leon in RE2 remake and RE4. I did an interview with him when RE2 remake came out, and we became acquaintances after that. I tried to get him to spoil RE4 remake. He's like, no, right now we're not in talk. He straight up lied to my face about it because that game was in development right after RE2 remake came out. He straight up lied to me. I was like, I sent him a text message. I was like, so about that conversation we had. He's like, yeah, I just couldn't say anything. That's fine. I understand. Yes, sir.
Another game series that I like playing, which I'm sure everybody's familiar with, like Fire Emblem, like
Yeah, he loves Fire Emblem.
I've only played one. I only played one of them. I played 3 Houses. That was it.
Well, I mean, I think 3 Houses was a lot of people's introduction to Fire Emblem. But Fire Emblem's a great series. I love the strategy games like that. That's a great series. And I honestly, I wish that those games were more accessible to people because finding physical copies of those games is so expensive.
He played, my friend who came down from Wisconsin, my friend John here, he plays Fire Emblem a lot.
Yeah.
Not as much as Metro or Castlevania, but
Yeah, those are
I've dabbled in Fire Emblem. I played, I think I played the original GBA and Awakening.
What's your favorite Fire Emblem?
I would probably say like I've been playing Fire Emblem since like the 2000s, like Blazing Swords, Sacred Stones, Path of Radiance.
So like the GameCube games, the GBA games.
Yeah, and also like Radiant Dawn and Shadow Dragon, Awakening, Fates, 3 Houses. And
Sounds like he's a big fan. He's played almost all of them at that point. I mean, it's a really fantastic series, and I mean, it's one of those that for me, I don't see a lot of people talking about Fire Emblem, but I mean, you can say that for a lot of different series at that point.
Thank you.
There's Waldo. You found Waldo? Yes, sir.
So earlier you were talking about like how it's kind of hard to talk to some younger gamers about older games. I feel like part of the issue with that is you don't get a lot of really like one-to-one remakes anymore. Like I think the Final Fantasy VII remake was a good example. Because I actually have never gotten the opportunity to play the original Final Fantasy VII. So when they announced the remake, I was pretty excited for it, only to not know what was going on.
Yeah, and so I don't think, to me, it's not so much that there's not a lot of remakes that are one-to-one remakes, because there are quite a few of them. But in the case of Final Fantasy VII, the way that they marketed that as a remake, and that it turns out it actually wasn't. That's why I said that's like a whole other panel. Legitimately, we could have an entire panel talking about Final Fantasy VII remake versus Final Fantasy VII, because when you go and you play the original Final Fantasy VII, since then, have you played it?
No.
I highly encourage you to play it, because when you play it and then you go and you play remake, then you're gonna understand why remake is it's not a remake, it's a sequel. And Rebirth kind of adds on to that even more. But again, that's a whole can of worms that you open up right there. Sorry, there was somebody else. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see him over there.
A lot of the big problem with the remakes and porting of 1 to 1 is you also have a lot of split-off games that never get ported at all. Like you had Crisis Core, which got an update, it got a remake, but Dirge of Cerberus is dead in the ground somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, so for me, and I guess you guys can chime in too when it comes to games and spin-offs and stuff like that. I don't like when they tie a lot of story into spin-offs, because you tend to miss a lot of the spin-offs. Like, I'm gonna point to Kingdom Hearts for that one.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Like, it was, after 2 is just spin-off after spin-off after spin-off, and it's just like, I don't have time for this, all on different platforms.
Including a mobile phone, you can't play.
Yeah.
So I can tell you it's worse than that. It's not only on all different platforms. The story is also hidden inside of secret notes inside the game where you have to find all that in each of the games. Yeah, stories.
What's that?
Well, you made a valid point, and I kind of did this recently too, about the mobile game. Did anybody archive the stories on YouTube or something?
I think people did like write-ups of it, and I think there's like some captured footage, and of course there's like they did a concert series which has plot details in it.
Yeah, that series is so weird. It's just a mess. But
it's more of a multimedia
experience.
Experiment.
Yeah, there you go.
Than an actual gaming franchise, which is still cool.
Yeah, he and I used to play a mobile game. Well, not him, but I used to play a mobile game that literally expanded the lore on a bunch of light novels. There's like 21 light novels, but then they did prequels, and literally the mobile game did like 4 or 5 prior stories that you would never get again. And I was like, no, we have to archive this. Mm-hmm. So yeah, 100%. That's up to people that are playing the game to like keep that alive. And I know it's like a weird copyright thing, but the fans are gonna thank you for it. Otherwise, it's gonna be lost media.
Part 2 is my favorite.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I play a lot of Star Trek Online, and a lot of us are trying to archive the storyline, because we don't know when that game is just going to go belly up whenever Viacom just decides it's not worth paying for the license anymore.
Yeah, and that's what goes into what we do and what we focus on here, is because a lot of that media that's digital can be lost in an instant. They can pull it from the store and you'll never see it again. You know, and it's a big issue in gaming. It's something that we have to fight with our wallets and support the physical media. But physical media is unfortunately dying. It sucks.
So that same don't get me started on that crap. Worth the $10 in my opinion, but it's nonsense. God, now I want to go on a tirade.
Focus.
Yeah, so as far as like digital media goes, a lot of digital media you may actually eventually be able to get in physical form. In fact, there was a game recently that they only released in the States on digital media, and I found in Japan a collector's edition that had the English media on it, and that's becoming a lot more prevalent, because if they're going to release it digitally, they're already going to have all the audio tracks, they're already going to have all the translations. So specifically this was for the Nintendo Switch, which turns out isn't region coded, or at least that game wasn't region coded. So you can sometimes find versions still out there. But I'm a huge fan. I literally spent $140 getting this game from Japan, so I had a physical copy for the rest of my existence. 'Cause how many people bought digital games and then your console breaks and the hundreds of dollars you spent on digital games is gone? Exactly. And the money's gone, the games are gone, the whole experience is gone.
Yeah. So what I'd like to do, so that way you guys can get to know us a little bit better too, I'd like to go around the table and ask everybody what their favorite games are. Again, because... And if you guys want to chime in too, be our guest with that, because again, we like to know people. Yes, sir.
I was gonna ask you guys about the Naughty Dog games. Like, did you guys ever grow up playing?
Hold on, whoa.
You gotta let me have this.
No. What do you want to know specifically about the Naughty Dog games?
Just like if you guys grew up playing those games, any of those games or not.
I have, but just to talk. Go, please.
Because he's gonna shit all over Last of Us Part 2.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
And,
I'm talking about like the old games like Jack and Dexter and Sly Cooper and stuff like that.
Okay. Because Naughty Dog started Crash.
Yes, that's my thing.
So that's have to move the conversation to a little bit different, and not a Last of Us versus Last of Us Part 2 conversation, because that's we get into kind of a little heated debate on that.
I hate Neil Druckmann, man. He's terrible.
See, this is what he's already started to.
I've got the hot sweats, man. I'm getting the itches right now.
Search your feelings, you know it's between.
Please, thank you.
Personally, with the Naughty Dog games for me, I grew up playing Crash. I was never really into Jack and Daxter. I never really got into the Uncharted games either, and a lot of people love the Uncharted games. I found them kind of boring, to be honest with you. And the gameplay to me was kind of dated even at that. I see you give me a thumbs down on that one. To me, when they released it, the gameplay was kind of outdated at that point too. It was weird for me when they came out. Look, you guys, if you like Uncharted, awesome. I support whatever you guys like. There's a lot of games that I don't like that other people love, and that's okay. There's games that I like that other people don't like too. It is not okay that you guys like those. But it's not okay. You have a problem.
Like is strong.
Yeah, like
you
is
have,
very
you have
strong.
a problem.
At this point, habit.
Like what?
It's a tolerance. No,
So let's go through it. Erica, what are some of your favorite games?
Definitely Final Fantasy, but mostly 6 through 9. Everything after that, I didn't care for. I played them, but it wasn't like the original games. Definitely Spyro. Really good game. As far as like new games that have come out, I do play like Fortnite, Overwatch, all of that, but I don't really care for them. They're just passing the time games, and people like to play with me, so it's fun. But I did actually get to test Dune Awakening for the beta, and there's a lot of hate around that game right now, but I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. People didn't like that you had to do resource gathering. I didn't think it was an issue. I had fun building my base. I had fun destroying other people's bases. I had a good time.
So some of my favorite games, if I go back to like my childhood, the original Power Rangers side scroller game for the NES, Super NES was like one of my favorite games. The amount of times I went through that was astronomical. Of course, as I said earlier, I've been playing Destiny since D1, and I have not stopped no matter how bad that game has gotten. Because God, has it fallen off a cliff sometimes. But Pokemon, I have played a few Final Fantasies, Legend of Zelda, the big titans out there, and actually right now my current favorite game of this year is right now Expedition 33.
Oh, I can't wait to play that.
Ronnie?
Okay, like I said before, mostly single player action adventure kind of games. Not Last of Us Part 2.
Can we have 3 quick bullet points?
Oh no.
Yeah, sure. Gladly. Absolutely.
Okay, you give 3 bullet points why you don't like it, and I'll give 3 bullet points why it's good.
Okay,
good.
sure.
No,
No problem.
yes.
Yeah, I got this. Leave me alone. First off, I want to point at the person who was leading the game, Neil Druckmann. He attacked content creators and copyright struck people who were even talking about The Last of Us Part 2. Not even showing a single image or video of him. That's not right to do, by the way.
But you're talking about...
That's one
You're not
reason.
talking about the game itself? Or?
Spoiler alert. You guys played Last of Us Part 2? Alright, you don't care? That's fine. You don't have to care anyway. The game's garbage. Spoiler alert, Joel dies in the first 2 hours of the game. What the hell? I don't really have a problem with him dying. It's more so how he died and when he died. It would have been more effective if he had died towards like the end where like he did a sacrificial thing. But He was just like beaten up by like this incredibly, impossibly muscular buff woman.
Next point.
In the apocalypse.
Next point.
And also, number 3, you play as a very unlikable character for 10 hours straight. The incredibly, impossibly muscular buff woman.
Okay, now my turn. All right.
All right, cool. No, I'm not done. Okay. Well,
No, that was 3 points.
That was 3 points. Okay, I'm done talking about the game. Now, back to what I like playing, my favorite games. So, mostly single player games. I grew up playing Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. I've had the remakes of both Crash Bandicoot and Crash Team Racing and Spyro. Love those games. I played the original on PS1 on repeat. Love those games. Insomnia Games, you know, they're a great company. And I even played their Spider-Man games too. I love part 1 still more than I do part 2. But mostly single player games, and I still to this day play single player games. I love some Metroidvania style games. You guys know Hollow Knight? I play Hollow Knight too. Hollow Knight's fun. I can't wait for yeah, what's the deal with Silk Song? Like 6 years ago they announced it and then
Yeah, it got announced on the Switch Direct.
oh.
They had like 2 seconds where they were like, oh yeah, so
Yeah.
hopefully this year, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I hope so, because I'm going to be playing that game. It's Hollow Knight's beautiful, man. It's a great game. But yeah, single player game mostly. So yeah, I don't really have a favorite game because I just like that style. That's it.
All right, I'm gonna skip Pilk for just a second so I can piggyback off of the Last of Us thing.
Wait, what?
Okay, so 3 points why Last of Us Part 2 is good. All right.
No, I can't.
No, I can't.
Good for you.
Good graphics, that's it.
All right, the story, if you pay attention to the story and how it's written regarding.
This was like Hollow Knight.
It was like Hollow Knight.
He's trying.
He's trying to deflect it.
If you pay attention to the story and how it's written, and you pay attention to the cycle of vengeance and what it does to a person, you pay attention to how they designed Ellie and how it affects her every day, you understand how everything just goes to shit for her because of it. No, but it's more so.
Everything goes to shit in the game.
No. But you can see the PTSD that's building in her. If you just have her
You see the
stand.
PTSD that's building the gamers playing that game.
I gave you a chance to talk. Put that microphone down, please.
Can you tell they're family?
So, if you let Ellie just idle every day in the different days, you see how much more PTSD and how much trauma she's going through just standing there. She's shaking her hand off. She's twitching. She's trying to just ignore everything that's in the back of her mind, and that is a very powerful thing in such a very small character animation. And if you pay attention to the side characters, this is my second point on this, if you pay attention to the side characters, you would know and see that the side characters, and this goes into everybody who was using a point, oh, the game is hating on men. If you pay attention to the side characters in that game, you would see that the side characters who are men are actually the voices of reason in that game. The characters of Owen is trying to convince Abby, hey, you should let this go. This is going to drag you down a path that you don't want to go through. You pay attention to Jesse. Jesse's doing the same thing for Ellie. Hey, this is not something you want to do. Just let it go. And what ends up happening is that because of their vengeance, these characters get killed. And it takes, at that point, it's like killing Jiminy Cricket. You know, because these characters are their conscience. But, you know, you get stuck on the anger of Joel and you don't see all of that. You miss that. And the gameplay is actually really good. That's my last point.
I respectfully
I know you do.
disagree.
I know you do. Because you're stuck on the anger part. We're gonna move on. Somebody has a question. Yes.
He's right, but for all the wrong reasons.
He's right for all the wrong reasons.
He's right, but for the wrong reasons.
You're right for the wrong reasons.
I'm right for the wrong reasons.
What are the right reasons?
Okay, you're right on the fact that the game design, the aesthetic, the little details, and all the character design, it's good. That's good.
That's pretty good.
The writing is shit.
Yeah, the writing shit. Exactly. There you go. We'll connect later. That's it.
I'm gonna defend.
The writing is shit.
With that being said, Last of Us 2 is not one of my favorite games. So some of my favorite games would be the Resident Evil games, Final Fantasy games. I'm a big horror genre fan. I love RPGs. Metroidvanias, I fucking love Metroidvanias to death. I'll get like an itch and I gotta play Metroidvanias. I'm gonna go and start playing Metroid Dread. I'm gonna start playing Symphony of the Night. I'm gonna play Hollow Knight, After Image, like all these different Metroidvanias. I love them. And then roguelike games. I get some sort of weird, like I need to play a roguelike. You know, like it's just.
I love Mega Man X. You guys like that?
Real question. The audience is know, how many times have you beaten? What was the most you've beaten in a Resident Evil game? Like how many times? Do you know the number?
I think he lost count, man.
So I'm doing a playthrough on my TikTok channel right now. I'm playing through every single Resident Evil game and timing how long it takes me to beat each one because I want to find out how much of my life I waste on these games. So that answers your question?
That answers my question.
Okay.
Which one's been the fastest so far?
Quick side question.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned Metroidvanias, Shadowlands.
I don't know that one.
It's a new one coming up. Actually based on the secret level that they did for Pac-Man.
Really?
So it's a Pac-Man Metroidvania.
Do you
Get with me after. I gotta look that up.
Do you eat pellets in the game?
All right. So I gotta give Pilk the mic so he can tell us his favorite.
Oh boy. Actually, funny enough, the one I imported from Japan is Metroidvania. It's like almost like a Souls-like Metroidvania. It's really weird, but I love it. But it wouldn't make sense if you haven't at least watched the Danmachi anime. My favorite games, man. It's so weird. Cause
What game?
Danmachi.
Think of Girls in the Dark.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't watched all 5 seasons of the show, the game's gonna make no damn sense. But the game is fun. Oh my god. And it's Metroidvania and it's just a blast. I've been enjoying it. So right now I have a Friday and Saturday night stream where we do like indie games. We've been doing Phasmophobia and recently got into Repo and obviously those just general type of co-op games. Like I said, I do have a Pokemon channel where I've covered every Pokemon from like Red all the way up to Scarlet and Violet. Fight me.
I'm going home.
We play. It's gonna be a long walk, my friend.
It's a glitchy ass.
They fixed a lot of things. Anyway, nevertheless, I played a lot of different things. I'll just get an itch. Like when I was in college, StarCraft first came out.
It's gonna be a long story.
Yeah. Well, it is a very long story.
Make it short.
72 hours. We got kicked off BattleNet for that one. I'll just get an itch and play like a type of game. Like back when I was a teenager, Doom, the original Doom. Oh my god. In fact, for my birthday this year, we're going to be doing Doomsday over on Twitch, where I'm going to play through 2016 and Eternals. I own them, but I've not played them yet. I really want to do that one, and I know chronologically I should do it first, but I want to get those two out of my backlog.
The new one's a prequel.
I do. Wait, what?
The new one is a prequel.
Yes, I know it's a prequel. As I said, chronologically I should play it first. But I own the other two. They're in my backlog. I really got to finish those. Then last night, just randomly, I went down to the arcade, and they had the initial D arcades up, and no one was playing it. And so from about 12 to maybe like 3:30, 4 o'clock, I just sat there playing that. If you put me on a racing game, you'll lose me for days. So I just love gaming in general. But yeah, I'll just get a itch, and that style's gonna be my life for the next 2 weeks.
All right, so I want to open up to you guys. You guys want to have any questions or talk about anything specific? I saw somebody with their hand up over there.
I just love StarCraft, that's all.
Oh, okay. I do too. StarCraft is great. Okay, well, Ash back there first.
There was, I think my new favorite puzzle game, which is also kind of like a roguelike, it's called like the Blueprints.
Blueprints?
Oh, the Blueprints. I don't think I've ever played a puzzle game that intense ever, and it's so good.
I'm gonna have to check that out because I like puzzle games.
You start with absolutely nothing, and you learn about everything in the game.
It's a procedurally generated escape room.
Okay.
And it's also currently listed as one of the top games of the year.
Okay, I gotta check that out. Yes.
Oh, people
I make Glutton for Punishment, so I'm pretty much into Souls likes.
It's pretty well known. I'm not a fan.
Okay.
I'm not a glutton for punishment. I don't have the patience for it. I don't rage on it. I just don't have the patience.
I disagree with you wholeheartedly, and I think it teaches people to be
better gamers, and so I agree with you. Souls
Well,
like
yeah.
games are amazing.
I didn't say anything bad about it. I just said I don't have the patience for it.
I'm not gonna say anything bad about it. I mean, I got Elden Ring. I got stuck in it though.
Like I have a whole bunch of Soulsborne games. I just
and I played Bloodborne. That was good.
yes,
next seed though.
Similar camp to One for Punishment, but more on roguelikes than stuff like Risk of Rain and Binding of Isaac and stuff.
Yes. I'm down for the roguelikes. I'm down for the roguelikes. Yeah, Connor.
Two things. First, are you gonna play through the Outbreak games for Resident Evil?
No, because Outbreaks were meant to be played with other people. The AI is really
I
bad.
can set you up with a server where you can play people.
Yeah, and I know that there is a server for it, but I want to experience the single player games. So that's the only reason why I'm skipping the Outbreak games.
And quick thing for you, I know. Sorry to go back to The Last of Us.
Why? You're doing this to me, sir. I'm gonna have more gray hair.
I actually have awesome news for you. There's a guy on YouTube called Neocranium, and he re-edited the entire game to a good story.
Oh, I gotta see that.
I highly recommend checking it out. It's what the game should have been.
What's it called?
His name is Neocranium. Just look up his Last of Us recut.
Waldo.
I got a question for the guy on the end. Not
Ronnie. Last of Us hater.
What's up, Last of Us hater?
Not a Last of Us question, but
Okay, good.
when you're talking about saying you played through all the Crash and Spyro games,
Yeah.
did you play through all the spin-off games too, or just the main?
Just the main ones. So like the Spyro games, I played Spyro Year of the Dragon, and Spyro. Ripto's Rage. Excuse me. Yeah, I played only the main ones.
You didn't play Crash Team Racing?
I did play Crash Team Racing. I always beat my brother's ass in that game, and I also played the Crash Bandicoot trilogy.
Okay, because I played the spin-off games and they're actually really
Were the spin-off games when PlayStation had that era where like these characters were like redesigned differently? What was it called?
There's a lot of Spyro spin-offs.
Yeah, but like Spyro had a different design. It was
Skylanders.
Skylanders. Never played it. Honestly, it was too ugly.
I know like the mutant games were really bad, but the Crash Twin Sandy was actually really fun.
Interesting.
We had a question down there?
What's the general consensus on Devil May Cry since it's technically a Resident Evil failure?
That would be a question for me on that one. I wouldn't say it's a Resident Evil failure. It was the original build for RE4, yes, but I wouldn't say it's a failure per se. I would just say that
Spin-off.
the history on it's kind of a spin-off. The history on that is not that it was a failure because they liked the way that the game was being designed, but they were like, this isn't a Resident Evil game anymore.
Oh my God, Connor, I'm sorry to interrupt. I know of Neocranium. I saw his No More Request Leon and Merchant video. That was really good.
You're an editor, so I thought you would appreciate it.
I did know. I seen some of his videos. Now I gotta find those.
Yeah, so in the same way for Devil May Cry, I mean, then you also have Haunting Ground,
Exactly, that's what
which
I was
was the other build for that. And Resident Evil Village paid homage to a lot of those builds. You had the Hookman, which was in the Three Daughters. You had the Mist version of it, which was, again, the Three Daughters when they would turn into the bugs. You have the Hallucination version, which is in the Benevento house.
And then you have the Clock Tower 3, which is also technically a spin-off as well, because it does play homage to, it no longer was parts of it was a Resident Evil formula, but then it no longer was.
Okay. Yeah, so RE4 just had a lot of stuff to it, like a lot of history to it. Even RE4 remake with the costume designs were actually cut costume designs for the characters that they put into the remake. Yes, sir.
Have you played the remake for Silent Hill 2? And if
Yes.
so, do you have an opinion on the future of the franchise?
Yes.
Extrapolate a little bit there.
They didn't finish it. They came to me and asked me, did I play it because I didn't finish it.
I haven't played the games.
I'm not like super excited for the future of it, just because Konami has a bad history of letting us down. And I don't want to like put my expectations up here and then I go and I play it and I'm like, well, this is shit. I'd rather just like set my expectations under the ground, and so that way when I play it I can enjoy it. because Silent Hill 2 remake, it was okay. I mean, it's just okay for me. I didn't really like get super excited for it when I was playing through it, and you know, it's just okay.
Wait for 3.
Wait for 3.
Wait for 3.
I still say they should have remade 1 first, but
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah. So we got a couple minutes. Yes, sir.
Have any of you played Alien Isolation?
Yes.
And what do you think?
I got bored. I'm not I like horror games. I'm not a fan of the horror games where I go and I hide most of the time. And Alien Isolation took too long for me to be able to fight back. That's why I got bored.
Even Outlast?
I screamed really loud.
Outlast. I liked Outlast, but I didn't like Outlast at the same time. It's again a run and hide type of situation, but they did it in a more tense situation than Alien Isolation did. So it was like constant, where Alien Isolation was like a lot of just hide.
Little pig.
Little pig.
Like, isn't that what that big monster guy?
Oh, okay.
He's a little pig or something like that. I can't remember.
Okay, so it looks like we're out of time, but guys, I encourage you guys to join us on YouTube, Gaming Across America. Check out all of our own individual social medias as well. You can find Erica on TikTok, Recat101, Omnitoast somewhere, Twitch, Pilk, everywhere, Pilk Raptor, Ronnie. I mean, he has news to astonish, but he's kind of on hiatus with his channel at the moment. And me, Gotian's games, you'll find me everywhere.
So, real quick question, because we do have to wrap up. How many of you guys had heard of the YouTube channel prior to this panel? Oh, 2. That's actually more than I expected.
3, 4. Well, you don't count. You're in.
And
you're one of them.
That's my brother. He's in a lot of the episodes.
So
I don't know if I count because I'm one of his friends.
Yeah, I told him that the Power Ranger pen.
So before you guys take off, do me a solid. Give us a subscribe on YouTube and share it with a friend that you know is going to enjoy the content, because we literally can't continue doing this without your support. We do have a sponsor, but it's highly limited, and this is like a major word of mouth thing. If you know somebody's going to enjoy this, please share it out, and then hopefully we'll be back next year.
Thank you guys so much.